Hi, I'm Alana. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we are doing a get ready with me for church. So, this morning I wanted to start with a book recommendation. The book that I would like to recommend to you today is called The Dream Hotel by Layla Lalami. And so, this book, it's a really good book actually. It's about this girl. And so like the main characters in this book are Arab, which is interesting because I feel like in most of the books I read, the main characters are white or black or Asian, but they're Arab in this book and they're not often Arab. And I read a lot of books. So in this book, this girl, she like gets detained kind of because they're living in this world where the government like monitors your dreams. And so the government monitors your dreams, and if you dream about something like violent or something like that, then it affects your risk score. And so everyone has a risk score, and if your risk score gets too high, then you get basically detained or retained. So they call it the retention center. So this girl has to, like, she gets arrested basically, and she has to spend time in a retention center, which is just like where they monitor you and make sure that you're not harm to yourself or others. But like, so they're screening everyone's dreams. So everyone's dreams are like viewed and screened by the government. And so this girl, she has a dream about her husband. She has like a violent dream about hurting her husband. And so that's why they're like, I'm sorry, but your risk score is unfortunately too high. So now we will have to hold you on retention. And they call it retention because they're not like, they're like, you're not in jail. Like, this is not a prison. It's not a detention. It's just retention. And they always say, like, we're going to hold you for 21 days just while we, lower your risk score to make sure that you're not a risk to anyone. But then they always hold them for longer. So then when you're in the retention center, it gets even more difficult. It's like when you go into a mental hospital and then you have to try and prove you're not crazy. You heard of that person who like accidentally faked crazy too much and now they're stuck in a mental hospital. Well, it's like that. It's like you go into the retention center because you're too much of a risk, and then you have to prove that you're not a risk by not like acting out or doing anything that seems risky enough to increase your risk score, which is like basically impossible. So yeah, now she's stuck in this retention center, and like it's really difficult to even call anyone outside the retention center. Like, she keeps trying to call her husband and she only gets to talk to him for like 2 minutes, and then the call gets cut off and she's asking him to call a lawyer. And like yeah, so her risk score is only a bit too high, but then like she keeps doing things when she's in the retention center that make it higher, and it's really difficult to get out and like to convince them that you're not a risk. So I'm loving this book so far. It's called The Dream Hotel by Layla Lalami. And then on the same theme, on the same topic, I also wanted to mention a interview that I listened to on the Shawn Ryan show the other night with a woman called Yeonmi Park. And so Yeonmi Park escaped from North Korea, and so she's like telling her story of how bad it is in North Korea. And like she shared about the North Korean diet. So this is the North Korean diet. In autumn, they eat crickets and tree leaves. And then in winter, they eat boiled potatoes and like bugs and insects. And then in spring, they usually die. So there's some perspective for you. And she was talking about how like they actually do have voting in North Korea. They actually do have voting because they call themselves a democracy. So, but when you go to vote in North Korea, there's only one option, like there's only one choice on the ballot paper, And they also like film you while you vote. So, bit of pressure. But yeah, it was a really good interview. She was talking about like escaping North Korea, and like she literally had to sell her mum for food at one point. So, and her dad got colon cancer from being tortured so much. So he died of colon cancer from being tortured so much. But when he died, they were actually like kind of relieved because it was getting so difficult to look after him. So there's some perspective for you. That is life in North Korea. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for getting ready with me for church this morning. You're beautiful. You're perfect. I love you. God bless you. If you're new, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.